Monday Tech Talk, Excavations. Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to unpack a topic that sits at the very foundation of construction work, quite literally, excavations. When most people hear the word excavation, they picture a big yellow excavator scooping out soil. And yes, that's part of it. But in our field, excavation is much more than digging. It's about creating space safely so that what we build above ground is strong, stable, and compliant with regulations. Think of excavation as the roots of a tree. If the roots are weak or exposed, the tree won't stand for long. In the same way, if excavation isn't done correctly, the entire project, no matter how beautiful the design, is at risk. Definition. So, what do we mean when we talk about excavation? Excavation is the process of digging and removing soil, rock, or other materials from a site to create space for building foundations, trenches, or structures. Imagine it as peeling back the earth's layers to make room for what we're about to build. Without this step, construction simply can't move forward. Why do we excavate? Let me share a few purposes with you. To create foundations for buildings, to install utilities like water pipes, electrical cables, and fiber optic lines, to construct basements, and to prepare land for major structural elements. Excavation is the blank canvas for any construction project. Without clearing and preparing that canvas properly, no masterpiece can be painted on it. Methods of excavation. Excavation can be carried out in two main ways. Manually, with tools like picks and shovels, or mechanically, with machines like bulldozers, excavators, and backhoes. Manual methods might feel slower, but sometimes they're safer when dealing with delicate underground utilities such as gas or fiber optic lines. On the other hand, machinery is efficient, but it can also cause severe damage if the planning isn't solid. Choosing the right approach saves time, reduces risk, and ensures the excavation remains stable from start to finish. The soil tells you how it wants to be handled. Our job is to listen and adapt. Think of it as using the right tool for the job. Just as you wouldn't use a bread knife to cut steel, you mustn't use the wrong excavation method for the ground conditions. Risks involved. Now, let's talk risks. And let me be frank here. Excavation work can be deadly. Hazards include cave-ins, where walls of soil suddenly collapse, falling objects. Tools or loose soil dropping on workers below. Struck by incidents, workers hit by moving machinery. Buried or trapped workers suffocating under soil is sadly a real possibility. Musculoskeletal injuries from incorrect lifting or handling heavy material. Imagine this scenario. You are standing in a trench 2 meters deep. The soil looks stable, but within seconds it caves in. 1 cubic meter of soil weighs as much as a small car. Could you hold that weight on your chest and survive? That's why the regulations are there. Planning and regulations. Excavation is not something you dive into head first. It requires meticulous planning. Before you touch the soil, you must conduct a proper site risk assessment, have a fall protection plan in place, obtain all the necessary permits and way leaves, and check drawings for underground utilities. Think of way leaves as a map of hidden dangers. They show you where water, sewer, gas, electricity, and telecom lines are buried. Imagine digging without checking, and suddenly you strike a live electrical cable. Not only does the project stop, but lives are put in danger. Types of excavations. There are different types of excavations. Strip excavation, removing topsoil. Basement excavation, digging deep for foundations below ground. Trench excavation, narrow digs for utilities. Each type has unique hazards. A trench might collapse sideways, while a basement excavation could undermine nearby roads or structures. Ask yourself this. When you see a trench on site, do you think of it as just a hole? Or do you treat it as a high risk? Addressing the risks. So how do we fight back against these risks? Appoint a competent person. Someone trained and experienced, not just available. Conduct risk assessments and actually use the findings to guide action. Implement protective systems like trench boxes, shoring or sloping. Enforce PPE use. Hard hats, gloves, boots, they're not optional. Have emergency plans. Everyone must know what to do if something goes wrong. Provide training and supervision. Safety isn't learn as you go. Think of it like wearing a seatbelt. You don't put it on because you plan to crash. You put it on because if you do crash, it might save your life. Excavation inspections. The law is crystal clear. A competent person must inspect excavations before every shift, after blasting, after ground falls, after rain, and after support damage, and every inspection must be recorded. Safe access into excavations. Workers must always have safe entry and exit. According to regulations, access points should be within 6 meters of any worker. Imagine climbing out of a 2-meter trench without a ladder. That's not just unsafe. It could mean the difference between escaping a collapse or being buried. Shoring, sloping, and benching. There are several protective systems. Shoring. Steel H-beams, sheet piles, trench boxes, or even sandbags. Sloping. Cutting the soil back to its natural angle of repose. Benching. Creating steps to reduce collapse risk. Think of shoring as scaffolding for the soil. Sloping as reshaping the ground to be stable. And benching as creating terraces that catch falling soil before it reaches workers. Lateral support. For deep excavations, we use lateral support like soldier piles, secant pile walls, and soil nails. These stop the soil from moving sideways. In mining or tunneling, rock drilling and anchoring provide strength against collapse. Imagine inserting steel anchors into rock. It's like pinning fabric onto a board to keep it from shifting. Barricading and signage. Excavations must be barricaded and signed. This protects not just workers, but the public too. Types include concrete barriers, netting, or road closure barriers, and signage is non-negotiable, especially at night. Imagine driving near a site and only realizing there's a trench ahead when it's too late. Signs are lifesavers. Part G of the regulations makes the legal side clear. Excavations must not endanger property or services. Anything deeper than 3 meters needs written authorization. The local authority must be notified at least 7 days before excavation begins. And here's the key. Failure to comply is a criminal offense. This isn't just paperwork. It's accountability. So in closing, excavation is where construction begins, but it's also where lives are most at risk. By following the regulations, appointing competent people, and enforcing protective systems, we can prevent tragedies.